So the Free Gaza Movement is the name of that group that tried to breach the blockade. Audrey Bombsey is the legal coordinator for this organization. She has joined us on the phone from Cyprus this morning. Audrey, thanks very much.
Welcome.
First of all, I want to read to you what somebody from the Israeli defense had to say this morning. He said that this was not an act of self-defense by the activists on board, that this was a pre-planned provocation. What's your response to that?
That's absurd. Why would civilians have premeditated attack on the fourth strongest military power in the world? They would lose. That's absurd. There was. It was clearly an attack, probably a premeditated attack by Israel upon civilians, since these were supposed to be crack military forces. That I can only assume that they wanted to intimidate people from doing this in the future. And this was the way they went about doing it. There was an 18-month-old baby on board the Turkish ship. Nobody would have brought on a baby if there was any expectation of violence. We had sent in 5 successful missions into Gaza before. All the time, Israel had threatened each one of them, but we had always gone through without any violence, without any confrontation, and not only. Was there a baby on board, but there's live stream of TV video coming from the Turkish ship, which shows the Israeli soldiers jumping out of helicopters shooting. Now, if somebody grabbed a chair or grabbed a bar when the person standing next to them was shot and perhaps killed, that's self-defense. That's not a provocation.
Why not, Audrey, my question, why not avoid confrontation with the Israeli military? They said they gave you warning, they gave you an option that they would take you to the port of Ashdod and that they would then distribute the aid for the organization, or gave them the option of going via Egypt as well. Why not take those routes?
Because it's a lie that they would have taken our cargo. What we were bringing is prohibited by Israel from entry into Gaza. They allow in some foods, clothing, medicines. They do not allow in reconstruction material. That's what we're bringing. We're bringing in cement, prefabricated houses, water purification systems. We're bringing in a whole dental office. They don't allow this in. Gaza today looks essentially like it looked in January of 2009. They have not been able to reconstruct, to rebuild their homes. They haven't rebuilt their hospitals. They haven't rebuilt their schools because Israel prohibits cement coming in. They're building now homes with mud bricks. It's absurd. And why? So we knew there was going to be a confrontation, and we expected a nonviolent confrontation. People were trained in nonviolent resistance. People were prepared to link arms and physically block the steering room, the wheelhouse. They were prepared to sit down and link arms and block the engine room.
Audrey,
they were not prepared to attack Israel. That's absurd. How could you attack somebody who is coming in with machine guns?
Audrey, quickly before we have to let you go, we're looking for any information about Canadians on board. We understand there's one Canadian on board, was named Kevin Nish. Do you have any information about other Canadians that were on board this flotilla?
Not on board ours. That's the only one we have on our list. There were 5 organizations that participated in this. I think there were Canadians on board the Turkish boat where all this violence took place, but not on ours. There's only Kevin on ours. I think what you should do is call up the Canadian consulate.
We have been in touch with
in Tel Aviv, because we advised everybody and all the boats to register with consulates before going.
Yes, and we have been in contact with them. Audrey, thanks for that. Audrey Bombsey is the legal coordinator for the Free Gaza Movement. That's the organization that was running those flotillas that were attacked this morning. 10 people dead in that incident.